is a real trap that you got yourself in, and you know, you
What if
go
you were
along
like,
with it.
what if you're like, look, I'm over this bullshit. Okay, be like, look, I've been here for 30 years. I've risen through these ranks. I've donated all this money. You guys pay me $50 a week. I'm done. I'm gonna go do something else. Like this is bullshit. I'm not gonna stay here anymore.
It didn't happen that way with me, but you want to hear how it happened,
Yeah.
or you have something else you want to ask before we get into that?
No. Yeah, I want to hear how you ended up leaving.
Okay. Well, here's what happened. As I said, I used to say to Becky, "Look, this is terrible. There's some way we got to get out of here." Now, I was really chancing something because in the C organization, they have what's called knowledge reports, where if you tell this to your wife, she is duty bound to write a knowledge report on you saying these things. And this happens to many people where the husband will say something to the wife, she'll write a knowledge report and turn it into the ethics section. And now you have to go through interrogation and everything.
They try to turn everybody into a snitch.
It's exactly what it is. Tony Ortega calls it a snitch culture, and it's exactly what it is. It's like in Germany, Hitler's youth, the little kids used to write up their parents, and Gestapo would come over, and the kid, I'm sure, regretted it at that point, but the kids were indoctrinated into doing that in Nazi Germany. So now, this is going on, and it's becoming more and more oppressive, and more rules are being done, and to the point where I don't know how the fuck I'm going to live this way. Now, David gave me a Kindle as a present. I think it was a Christmas present. As a matter of fact, it was a Christmas present. And you're familiar with the Kindle. We went over that, right?
Yeah.
A Kindle, and I'm sure the people watching this knows, but it's an electronic form to store books and you can read them.
Yeah. So
They're great.
was your Kindle loaded up with L. Ron Hubbard books?
My Kindle was loaded up with all of L. Ron Hubbard's science fiction books.
Whoa.
Okay. And I don't know how he did it, but he got somebody to put it on there, which was great because you can't do it. I don't think it's available on Amazon, so he had to get it put on there. So anyway, the security guards are making a concentrated effort to get this Kindle away from me, and I don't know why. And finally, I said to him, "Listen, I'm not giving you this Kindle. David gave me this." Now, that backed him off totally because David's the chairman of the board. He's like the supreme commander there. There's nobody above him, so they just backed off. But I
Okay.
couldn't figure out why did they want to get this Kindle. I mean, they wouldn't take it from me and use it for their own purposes. That would be, they might as well cut their own throat if they did that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, one night I get home and I would get off a little bit early because I had an incident that happened to me where I had heart palpitations for like 12 hours straight. And I went in to see a doctor and he put a Holter monitor on me, which is a thing that detects your heartbeat. And at night, sometimes my heartbeat would go up to 138. So the doctor said, look, you got to drink less coffee, don't smoke as much or quit smoking. And I got off an hour early to get extra rest. It's necessary to tell you that because I'm home laying in bed and I'm reading my Kindle. And Becky's not there and everybody else is still working that extra hour. So on a Kindle, and I had the older one, which had a mechanical toggle switch that if you press to the right, the cursor would go to the right. If you press to the left, it'd go to the left. Press up, it'd go up, and press down, it would go down. Now, one of the things that was helpful in was this. If you ran across a word that you didn't understand the meaning of, you could select that word, press the toggle switch to the right, and it would take you to a dictionary and give you the definition. I'm reading, I run across this word, I select it, I press the toggle switch to the right, and for no reason at all, I kept it pressed to the right. It went dictionary, internet. I was on the internet with no filter. A complete mistake because on that base, if you went on the internet There are filters on them. You couldn't look at anything about Miscavige, about Scientology. You could buy things that way. You could buy, clothing or whatever. Now I'm on the internet with no filter. And I thought, whoa, I'm out of the pen. The dog's out of the pen. I'm going to go and see what else is up.
So what'd you find?
Well, here's what I found, and it was the key thing that probably was the tipping point, as you just mentioned. That expression I do like,
Mm.
because it was the tipping point. There was a person on that base named Annie Tidman. Annie Tidman was one of those Commodore's messengers that I talked about earlier. And she was with L. Ron Hubbard for all these years. And as a matter of fact, she and her husband were the two people that were with him when he was traveling around in his trailer, his house trailer. So she was taking care of him. So she was a very loyal messenger of his. Annie Tidman was on that base. She had to stay there. She couldn't leave the base because she was considered to be a security risk. She developed cancer. So they sent her to Los Angeles to get treatment for the cancer, and they sent a handler down with her, which would also audit her, counsel her on one of the highest levels in Scientology. I looked up her name, and up till this point, I would ask Martine, who was our medical liaison officer, how's Annie doing? Because she was a good friend of mine. Oh, she's doing great, Ronnie. Yeah, she's coming along really good. Okay, good. On the internet, she died 6 months ago. I couldn't believe it. Almost as a fluke, the next day, two girls are standing outside our birthing compound, and they said to me, Ronnie, it's Annie's birthday. We're taking up a collection for gifts for her. Do you want to contribute anything? And I looked at them and I thought to myself, I didn't say anything. I thought they're either part of the scam or they don't know anything about it and they're being duped like I was duped. And I turned them down. But that was the point that I knew I had to check into further things that were said about Scientology. And I started looking at the internet, started looking at L. Ron Hubbard's war record, which he was not a war hero at all. A lot of other things that he said and did. And it was that point that when Becky came home, I said, Becky, we're getting out of here.